The Kredathi warship's bridge fell silent as Commander Vexenar studied the human standing before him. Captain Sarah Chen stood at attention, her ceremonial katana hanging from her hip, an anachronism that had puzzled every species in the Galactic Coalition since Earth joined 3 years ago. "You refuse to surrender your ship," Vexenar said, his mandibles clicking with amusement. The translation matrix rendered his words in flat, emotionless standard. "Your shields are down. Your weapons offline. Your crew of 47 against my 300. He gestured toward the viewport where Chen's frigate, the Indomitable, hung dead in space, caught in the Kredathi's tractor beam. "That's correct," Chen replied. Vexenar's 6 eyes blinked in sequence. Humans were still new to the galactic stage, their psychology a curiosity. They had survived their violent homeworld through pack bonding and persistence hunting, traits that made them adequate soldiers, but unremarkable warriors. The Kredathi had conquered 17 sectors through superior tactics and overwhelming force. This would be conquest number 18. "Then I challenge you," Vexenar announced. "Single combat, as is my right under Coalition law. When I defeat you, your crew will witness their captain's failure and understand the futility of resistance." Chen's hand moved to her sword's grip. "Accepted." "No." Vexenar's laugh translated as a harsh chittering. "Not here. Out there," he pointed to the airlock. "Your primitive weapon is useless in vacuum. Your soft human body will freeze and boil simultaneously. You will suffocate in 90 seconds. This is your last chance to surrender with dignity." Captain Chen's expression didn't change, but something shifted in her eyes. A calculation, perhaps. Or was it excitement? Vexenar couldn't tell. Human micro-expressions remained difficult to parse. "The airlock," she confirmed. "You and me? Indeed. I have fought in vacuum 17 times. My exoskeleton is adapted for it. My auxiliary lungs can hold atmosphere for 30 minutes. What do you have, human? A blade that cannot cut without air resistance, without gravity to give your strikes force?" Chen walked toward the airlock without answering. Vexenar followed, his confidence absolute. The corridor was lined with both Kredathi warriors and the human bridge crew, all watching in tense silence. Even Chen's first officer had tried to dissuade her, but she had overruled him with a single word: trust. At the airlock, Chen began removing her uniform jacket. Beneath it, she wore her ship suit, a thin, flexible garment that would provide minimal protection. She kept the sword. "Fascinating," Vexenar observed. "Is this a human death ritual?"
"Something like that," Chen replied, her fingers moving across her wrist display.
The airlock's inner door opened. They stepped inside. The door sealed behind them. Through the transparent portal, dozens of faces watched, human and Kredathi alike, all waiting to witness what came next. Vexenar activated his combat exoskeleton. Armor plates slid into place over his carapace. His helmet sealed with a hiss. "When I activate the outer door, you have 60 seconds before your consciousness fades. 90 before death. I will make it quick." Chen drew her sword. In the harsh lighting of the airlock, the blade seemed to shimmer. She held it in a guard position, centered and ready. The commander smirked, a gesture lost behind his helmet but transmitted through his body language. "Your sword's useless in vacuum." She smiled then, a predator's expression that made Vexenar's combat instinct suddenly scream warning. She reached past him and manually overrode the safety protocols. The outer door opened. Atmosphere screamed outward. The explosive decompression should have killed Chen instantly, should have sent her tumbling into the void. Instead, her ship suit ignited with pale blue light, a personal shield generator, military grade, compressed to impossible thinness. The kind of technology that shouldn't exist yet in human hands. But that wasn't what made Vexenar freeze. Chen stepped out into vacuum and her sword erupted into flame. No, not flame. Plasma. Superheated matter contained in a magnetic sheath that ran along the ancient blade's edge. The katana's traditional steel core served as a conductor for technology that married human craftsmanship with coalition science. In atmosphere, it was a ceremonial weapon. In vacuum, without air resistance, without friction, it was perfect. Vexenar barely had time to raise his combat claws before Chen was on him. She moved like liquid mercury, like violence poetry. The plasma blade carved through his exoskeleton's armor plating, as if it were decorative foil. He tried to grapple her, to use his superior mass and strength, but she wasn't there. She was everywhere, moving in 3 dimensions with thrusters built into her boots and gloves. This was what humans called zero-G combat doctrine. They had trained for it, prepared for it. While other species saw vacuum as an obstacle, humans saw it as another battlefield to master. Chen's blade found the weak point where Vexinar's helmet joined his carapace. She didn't kill him. That would have violated the terms of single combat. Instead, she disabled his suit's life support, then dragged him back toward the airlock with shocking ease in the microgravity. 37 seconds had elapsed. When the airlock repressurized and the inner door opened, Captain Chen stood over the defeated Kredathi commander, her sword dormant once more, her shield powered down. She wasn't even breathing hard. By coalition law, she announced to the watching crowds, the Indomitable and her crew remain sovereign. Vexinar's mandibles clicked weakly as his warriors helped him up. Through his cracked helmet, he finally understood what every other species would soon learn. Humans didn't just adapt to hostile environments. They weaponized them. As the Kredathi warship disengaged its tractor beam and retreated, Chen's first officer approached her with barely contained relief and awe. "Captain," he said quietly, "that was insane." Sarah Chen cleaned her blade with practiced motions, the plasma emitters cooling along the ancient steel. "They always think the sword is the weapon," she said. "They never realize it's just the delivery system." Behind her, through the viewport, the Indomitable powered back to life, systems restored by her engineering crew in the precious minutes she'd bought them. Another day survived. Another enemy who'd underestimated humanity's greatest strength, their ability to turn any disadvantage into a weapon. In the void between stars, Captain Chen's smile lingered like a promise.